Have I ever told you the story of, what was the line again? Oh. Have I ever told you the story of how we had rain recently? As in today and yesterday? No? Okay, well, there is no story. All I need to say is that we've had rain recently, so, haven't been able to go walking, but it's okay. I'm gonna put on chapstick because my lips feel like they're as dry as a rock. Hello, phone. Anyway, hello, and hope you're doing fine. So tonight we're gonna be doing two things. First of all, no particular reason, but it was just curiosity that I had earlier. This we will do later. But for now, time for me to humiliate myself for the umpteenth millionth time on here. Tampa. Final answer is Tampa. Okay, right now I'm literally scrolling up. Disneyland.
Your attention, please. Last call for the Disneyland players. Now leaving for a complete
I have to say something.
Disney's Magic Kingdom. The Grand Canyon
The
and
fact that
Tiny
there's a Disneyland and a Disney World
Now?
it's still gonna confuse someone who's not really that familiar with Disney parks. Because, like, for me, I've never been to any of these Disney parks. I know about Disney is the movies and the fact that, conspiracy theories, creepypastas, and other weird shit. Anyway, if I didn't know any better, Orlando. Ridiculous. Okay. See, here's the weird thing. You see me zooming in and out. What happened just now, like a second ago, was that I was trying to zoom out, but it zoomed in. But earlier, whenever I was zooming in, it zoomed out. I don't know why. this is yet another California. Okay. Is it? No, it couldn't be Santa Monica. Santa Barbara? At least I'm not ashamed to admit that. But I had the right idea. I thought this was like further up, but no, it's Huntington. Oh. Oh my gosh. I've had this one before and I've been utterly humiliated by this one. That looks really pretty, by the way. So I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but I went to Colorado towards the end of July, and there were a lot of things that looked kind of like that, but yeah, the problem about this is that there's no signs that would clearly indicate where I'm at, so I'm gonna have to take a random guess and yeah. I had the right idea though, it was in the same state, it was just further away than I thought. Alright, anyway, you might notice the audio sounds a bit clearer. It's because of the fact that, I think I might have talked about this before, but, there was a setting in my audio mixer for a mic, and let me choose between a lower quality, but less CPU usage, and a higher quality, but higher CPU usage. The thing is, though, I'm not really concerned about the CPU usage, because right now it's using like I'm not dropping any frames, which is good. Motherfucker, get over here, you. There's a bug. I think it's a mosquito or something. It's just like. Seriously. It's not a bird. Hawaii Pacific. Honolulu? Honolulu? Come on, we gotta be in Honolulu. Right. Honolulu. Yeah! I've had this one before and I used to get really humiliated by it, but I know. It's near Boston. See, it's Barnstable. Right here. Bingo! Lime Street. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's not limestone. It's not limes. It's Lime Street. Web. I guess I should mention why I had Spirit Halloween near me. I was looking out of curiosity, and there is actually one it's close by if you're in a car, but for me it's like a nearly 3-mile walk, and granted I could probably make it there and back, because I've done it before with a Toys R Us that used to be in our old city, but I mean, I would know the way there, because the street that it's along, I actually crossed that same street to get from my local Wendy's to my local Walmart whenever I'm walking, so yeah. I've actually tried walking towards where it would be, like a year or two ago I think, or maybe 2018, but I decided to turn back around because I decided it just wasn't worth it at that time, but Maybe one day. Or maybe if I had a bike, but I don't really need one. Also, I believe this is somewhere in Boston, so watch me get proven wrong. I guess I'm wrong. I don't think I've had this one. This looks new. That looks cool, by the way. Like a truck. Yeah, this doesn't look familiar. I mean, I could be wrong, but this very much looks unfamiliar. Okay, judging by the abundance of Floridian plates, I would guess that it's Florida. But we don't know where in Florida. All I know is they're testing for HIV. Trans flag! I'm not trans, but I have friends who are trans, so... Trans rights. Rights for everyone except if you're a jerk or a criminal or a terrorist or anything along those lines. But if you're a good person, you have my full support. Especially if you're in the LGBT, because I am. I'm bi. The bricks. Yes, those are indeed bricks. Look at all those people over there. I have a better joke. Oh, by the way, the shirt I'm wearing is from Colorado. I got it there. We were at these cliff dwellings, and they had this gift shop where you could buy clothing and stuff. And actually, kind of a funny thing, Colorado is also where I got my diamond paperweight. It's over there on my other desk. Also, look at all those chickens! I want to say this is Tampa, but I feel like the second I guess, it's probably going to be something stupid. Tallahassee? The one time where I don't suspect it's actually that. It's the very thing I don't go for. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. The reason why I wasn't gonna guess Tampa is because, ironically enough, sometimes if the answer happens to be that same location, then I say, oh, it can't possibly be that. And then I guess somewhere else. It happens to be the place where I said I wasn't gonna guess. Cause like, the thing is, to me, I wouldn't suspect this to be Tampa. Like, in this little area, it doesn't look like Tampa. When I think of Tampa, Florida, I think of someplace near the sea, which makes sense, because it is. But I thought it was Tallahassee, because I couldn't see any semblance of any kind of seawater or anything. Oh, also, look at this. Wait. They have, I was gonna see if they had Emerald Coast. do have an Emerald Coast, but yeah. By the way, I think that's really cool how there actually is an Emerald Coast. And the reason why I bring that up is because of Sonic Adventure, which I had that on Dreamcast. Unfortunately, I don't have any usable batteries for my VMU, but I'll get those at some point. Just not now, because I'm not financially stable, as I would put it. I only have nearly $3. Don't judge me. Alright, I remember the first time I saw this, I got my ass handed to me on a silver platter. Because, okay, let me explain. When you look at this for the first time, you would think that it's Florida. Right? It literally looks like Florida. At least to the uninitiated. However, it's actually in California. Had to do something real quick. Bear Island? You might be thinking California. It is actually Toronto.
Like on the Infinity buildings, they have it. The big stuff. But I don't think anyone can access it anyway.
Oh my god. This is clearly Toronto. Okay. Yeah. So originally I was gonna be playing this until 11:30, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this until 10:30, and then I'm gonna get to the Google stuff. I'm also gonna have to change my mouse because this one. Okay, never mind. I was meant to say I was gonna have to change my mouse, but also this is UCLA. Oh wait, is that I think that's the casino that inspired the casino you see in story mode in GTA 5. However, to this day, nobody knows what the Diamond Casino and Resort was based on. My only guess is that it's entirely Rockstar's design, but if so, good on them. It's an amazing design. Uh, um, second that I try to find something, it isn't appearing. The thing is, it says UCLA, means Los Angeles. So it means University College, I think. So, yeah. I'm just gonna guess, numero uno. Okay. I'm just gonna guess here, whatever. It wasn't far, but now I know. Now I know. Okay, oh, this is El Paso. Yeah. I think. I mean, I've never been to El Paso, but I've had this thing before, so. Boom!
In about 58 seconds, we'll be 1,136 feet high and 114 building stories.
Okay. This is Toronto. See, the other one that I thought was Toronto was California. People are wearing face coverings. I have mine over there at my desk. Just kind of set shit on. Not that one. Weird if I did. My room would smell like a pigsty. I don't want that. Nashville, Tennessee, or Memphis, Tennessee? If I had to guess, it's probably Memphis. Nashville. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna continue to watch. If I see anything that would suggest that we're in either of those places, guess in. Oh, Nashville. I've never been here before, but as someone who plays GTA 5 and online religiously, and I don't. I should explain, I don't mean as an actual religion. I mean, like, I play it, like, pretty much all the fucking time. Del Perro Pier, otherwise known as Santa Monica Pier. back up here. Which, I know last year it was temporarily shuttered because of the pandemic, but things are kind of getting back to normal. Kind of. Yeah, should probably check on something real quick. Also, this is likely California. How is Tarrant doing? I hope these numbers go down. Okay, the reason why I said speaking of which is because I was gonna check on, how many cases of COVID that my county had. Over 1,000. Partially because of recklessness and because of the Delta variant, but just doing a part. Wearing a mask or getting vaxxed. I haven't gotten vaccinated yet, but I might at some point if I feel like I need to, but at the moment I'll just stick to wearing a mask, just to do the bare minimum of keeping me and others safe, so. Yeah. Yeah, this should be California, right? If so, because I've never had this round before, but. San Fran? Oh, San Diego. This is another one that I haven't had. Or might have. Believe it or not, I had good sleep last night. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Like, I'm not like one of those characters in Hypnospace Outlaw that uses Hypnospace a lot and ends up getting tired a lot. No people in here. Just, just New York. Yeah. Now the question is, where in New York? Perth and Boy. Alright, one last one. Hope Springs. It's about to say Washington, but I know I'm gonna get disappointed. Where it could be, but where in Washington? Okay. Alright. Now then. On to the other thing, which is Google Earth, which no longer has me going to that one page and then clicking on Launch Google Earth. It just boots me straight into it. I was here earlier. Not physically, I mean like on here. But Reason being is because I wanted to see an old friend. By the way, they have actually updated the actual pictures recently. Not all of them though, because if you go over there to this side, you still see the GameStop over there along with the Yogurtville. However, if you go to this side, you get something that caused me to have depression for a while. I don't mean like actual, clinical depression. I mean like, I don't know, man. It's just something magical about going to your favorite store, getting your favorite video games and stuff like that. And then for a health crisis to just take that away from you. And like before the pandemic, I used to visit GameStop like pretty much every single day I could. And I had fun too. I met a lot of cool people there. Some people were just customers, but other people were, well, eh. Let's just say that it's because of GameStop that I met some pretty cool people. People who I still know today. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I trust that they're doing well. Like Styler and Adam and Tyler, Jordan, who moved to Oregon in 2019, I believe. Dalton. I mean, on the bright side, I still have one near Watauga that I can go to. Unfortunately, I can't walk there. My papa has to take me, but I haven't really gone there since, I think after New Year's or something. But, it's a pretty somber reminder that, if something crazy like a health crisis happens, before you know it, one of your favorite places could go like that. Um, I guess this is one weird thing. Just one big blur that has gone away. I think it was probably just rain. Um, yep. But something else that's happened is if we go over to the Dunkin' Donuts, it's supposed to be there. Yeah, it's over there. Um, here's another thing. So there's an end cap over here that currently this end cap over here already has a sign on it. It's for a place called Bazooka Charlie's. However, it's not open yet. They're still in the process of making it. But there's this middle section. Now, call it a sneaking suspicion or what have you. Also, I like how it says we're in Colleyville right now. We're in NRH. Cause okay, here's how precinct line works. This is precinct line. This side of precinct line is considered to be Colleyville. Alright. And then we have Hearst over here. Then we have NRH over here. And then if you travel down North Tarrant Parkway here, you eventually make your way to Keller. I know I'm not saying my city is extremely small, it's actually real big. It's just, yeah. Um, Also another unfortunate casualty of the pandemic was, another place I liked visiting, albeit not as often. Um, but you'll notice this sign, now hiring all positions. And everything seems all well and good, you know. But, oh, oh yeah, I went there. So, as of right now, this place right here, Family Video, has unfortunately, and not not necessarily unfortunately, but just sadly, is closed down. Like, there's literally nothing in there now. Because you'll notice this sign. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because, as of right now, this place that used to be a Family Video is now currently a CBD distribution place. Which is, pretty cool considering the fact that CBD has many medicinal uses. So, it's good. Um, but according to this picture, we could still at least see the remnants of what once was. And I have to admit, as someone who occasionally went to Blockbusters growing up, it's pretty sad to see that movie rental places actually are dying, which I get it. It was gonna die anyway because of the modernization of getting to see movies. Now you can see them on Netflix and all that stuff, and you just buy movies at stores. But back in the day, movie rentals were awesome. All right. Hell, at one point, I didn't even know about this as a little kid, but when the Sega Dreamcast was around, Blockbuster, I think it was either Blockbuster or Hollywood Video, but they would let you rent the Sega Dreamcast and a game for a few nights. I forgot how much it was, but it's pretty cool. Although didn't really help all that much with the Dreamcast. I almost said Genesis, but the Genesis was from the 90s. Um, but yeah, so there's that. As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure that Marco's Pizza is still there. But yeah. Anyway, now to go to hey, that's the elementary school I used to go to. Man, I miss going there. Another thing. This is the GameStop I was gonna say that I now go to occasionally. I haven't been there lately, but that's what it is now. It doesn't look like this. It's just yeah. Um, wait, is there a picture of what it looks like now? Pretty sure if I go out here, maybe. Yeah, there's signs out here. There's the Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. Uh, yeah, that's it. Cars over here. Yeah. Look at that. There's a swanky little Taco Bell right over there. Yeah. That place was cool. What else is cool, however, is everyone's favorite whoops. Everyone's favorite game store. I don't know about everyone's favorite, but certainly one of mine. That is Founded Electronics. Now something to mention here is that currently it's not right there. If I ship things out here, it should show a more up-to-date picture. Yeah, there it is. Um, Sometime last year, what happened was, they were able to move their old location over to here, which gave them a lot more space, so that way everything was more spread out. It would give them more room to put everything at, which is pretty cool. Also, hey, Sega Dreamcast. Hey, Sega Dreamcast. It's you can kind of see it right there. Um, yeah, there's my dual sense right there. um, yeah. So yeah. Um, but there's Founded Electronics, pretty cool. Um, there's no panoramics in there. I guess what I could do is I think I've already done this place before, but I'm gonna do it again. Oh yeah, we're doing that. Northeast Mall. I haven't been here in over a year. I wasn't even trying to rhyme there. Um, wait, is it this? Is this that one guy? Yep, there he is. Russell Rogers. Oh wait. Is this Hot Topic? Oh, wait. Yeah, I think it is Hot Topic, isn't it? Um, I've actually never been inside a Hot Topic. Um, all I know is a lot of people associate it with like either geeks or emos, but I ain't got a problem with that. You have a problem with that? No, didn't think so. Um, Oh. Okay, so real quick, I have to talk about something that's a bit sussy. I fucking hate my life. Let me explain. Also, I had no idea this was a Disney movie. But you guys want to see an example of journalism? Oh my god. So first of all, like before I even knew about this movie, I didn't know what free guy meant. But now that I know it's literally like ancient gamer slang, okay. And then we have this. It's a sus use of a phrase. In what way? First of all, the character's name is Guy, for one. Second of all, the reason why it's called Free Guy is because, according to the movie story, Guy is supposed to be just an NPC, but he gains the sentience and the, you know, like he basically games the system, I guess you could say. Cause instead of just doing NPC stuff, he acts like what a player would do, just doing what a player in the game in the movie would do. Doing all these things like using power-ups and all that stuff. So that's part of the reason why it's called Free Guy. And it is also a reference to the term free guy, which means extra life. But can we talk about how cringy this is? It's a dot 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 sus use of a gaming phrase. In what way though? And in what way is it considered I feel like I'm gonna cough up a lung if I have to say this. Sus. See nothing. Ah! I had to. It's just I don't mind the word, but I personally don't ever want to say it. But if I have to for like descriptive purposes or for just like as a joke, then I might. But this right here is journalism gone wrong, all right? Why not just say it's a weird use of a gaming phrase? Not it's a sus use of a gaming phrase. Because first of all, that just makes you look like an idiot. Second of all, I think anybody who grew up in the 80s or the 90s would immediately get the reference the movie's trying to make. Third of all, people who have seen the movie would understand why it has that title. It's because the character, who is supposed to be an NPC, gains the awareness to do non NPC things and act like a player would who's playing the game. But let's read, shall we? Hollywood does its best to be a trendsetter, but as is the case with Free Guy, sometimes movies just miss the boat entirely. What I've been hearing, Free Guy, released by Disney last Friday, was directed by Sean Levy, Real Steel. I've seen that movie, it's pretty cool. and stars Ryan Reynolds as Guy, a non-playable character who lives in the fictional world of Free City, while the movie tries very hard to be relevant and timely. Again, how? Like, personally, I haven't seen this movie yet, but, um, I want to see it. Like, if I can't see it by the time it's in theaters, I'll just get it on Blu-ray or something. Um, it it references popular franchises like Grand Theft Auto. Duh, it takes place in a city. And features cameos from famous streamers like, Pokemon Ennis, or Ennis, I don't know, and Sean McLaughlin, otherwise known as Jacksepticeye. It falls behind with one specific reference to gaming, its title. What the fuck am I reading? No, seriously. I, I want to know exactly what I'm reading right here. Like, I can clearly see it's an article, but was it was it trying to make sense of? Like, how's it falling behind because of its title being a reference to, for one, the events of the movie involving the character breaking free from his NPC programming because he gains the awareness to do things that a player would. And of course, the movie's name is also a reference to, in fact, getting an extra life in a video game. It, like, seriously. And then it goes on to say, as it turns out, the title of the movie itself is actually a reference to gamer slang that isn't really used or all that known anymore. Even growing up, I never heard someone say free guy, but I believe it because it makes sense. Because people say that as gaming slang for, or, they said that as, oh, I got a free guy, nice. I have an extra chance of beating a level. The phrase free guy means an extra life or a one up. So what makes it sus? Polygon reached out to a few folks who expressed familiarity with the term, and they all said that they remember it being used to refer to an extra life. Matt Helgeson, former writer at Game Informer magazine, told Polygon over Twitter that he heard it and used it many times in the past, but not for many years. He remembers using it around the same time as the NES, SNES, and Sega Genesis. I have the mini, by the way. William Garcia, a fan of retro games, told Polygon he thinks he heard the phrase around the 90s. He told Polygon over Discord it was basically a life in a game. Usually a game like Mario or Sonic, but I guess probably Pac-Man or stuff like that where you can see like a number or otherwise count the number of lives left. As new games come out, new ways of interacting with them become more popular, and new memes and terminology can develop at a rapid rate. Where's the button to go to the nearest insane asylum? Because I think I'm about to fucking die of a heart attack here. See, for example, the adoption of the phrase sussy baka. But they didn't. You see that too, right? you see it? A reference to both an imposter. It's not the thing I was looking at, by the way. They refer to Among Us as a mafia game. Uh, Mafia game. I don't remember no Mafia and friggin' Among Us. I've actually played that game before. Oh my god, really? Like, they just had to include this. By the way, a particular celebrity whose face has become a meme, which he is very much okay with, has said this times. Sasibaka is a reference to the imposter and the Japanese word for idiot. It has been integrated into the vernacular of fans ever since comedic TikToks and memes popularized it. It's always fucking TikTok. Like, almost always. Like, okay, let me explain. I don't have a problem with TikTok. I think TikTok's pretty cool. I don't have TikTok, nor would I ever get it. But I have no problem with it. I'm tolerant to it, I guess you could say. I'm very much okay with it. But, there comes a time and a place when, there's like a whole bunch of memes over one thing, and it just quickly stops being fun. For this is one of those things. The whole Sussy Baka, which I will admit, kind of a funny thing. I actually read something somewhere that a kid got in trouble with her mom because a kid called his mom a Sussy Baka. Like, okay, that's pretty funny, but I hear this so freaking often. It's like, it's not even funny at all. Not even the first time I heard it. Like, it's funny when you hear a celebrity say it because of cameo, but like when you just see it in a general conversation, like, "Hey, you're a sussy bucket," like, what? I don't get it. Also, why the fuck are they calling this a mafia game? You know, mafia, as in Italian mob. So, tell me, what does the Italian mob have anything to do with a game where you play as space guys? Nothing. It's a social deduction game, is what it's officially called. Um, or the growing prominence of terms like the metaverse. Okay. Um, it has been increasingly used to describe games like Fortnite. Or games on Roblox in the past year. I don't know, that Metaverse Champions thing was pretty cool. And it goes on to say, so it's no surprise then that with the years it takes to make a movie, references might be a little dated. Okay, I can understand the Free Guy reference, but for one, like, who cares about how old a reference is? Just let people enjoy the damn movie without acting like, oh, the movie title is a little sus. Ugh. Like, nobody gives a shit. They just want to see a movie that they've been waiting to see for ages, right? Like, who cares what the references are? Who cares about the Easter eggs? About, oh, it's referencing this, it's referencing that. Now, look, I don't mean any hate towards Polygon. I think Polygon has good things on their own merits. I just don't see a reason why they needed to make this article. I'm not saying I hate it, it's just baffling, I guess. Um, Regardless of how recent the reference might have been at the time. Okay. Yeah, here it is. He gains consciousness, which means that basically he no longer acts like an NPC. He acts sort of like a character in a game. But still like I like how they act like this movie's title is somehow groundbreaking. Like, okay. Also, I don't want to hear about the. Stop it. Okay. Okay then. Here. Hey, buddy. Oh, look at that. Christmas. It Christmas. Merry Christmas. Starbucks. Um, I'm gonna check on something real quick. Let's see what's new. Nothing. Okay, what about EUIPO? Um, by the way, I don't think we are having a state of play tomorrow, but that's fine. If I have to wait, I'll have to wait. Alright. Um But I'm gonna see a blue hedgehog running around. Nope. But I will admit, Emerald Coast does look pretty. Nice, Bill. Yeah, I wonder how nice it is. I knew that was gonna be a bad joke the second I started saying something. And I said it anyway because I have no life. I really don't, but that's okay. Is there anything new here? Uh, wait. Wait. I have to be further up forward. I think here, right? Yep. I wonder if there's anything new here. Maybe, right? No. Of course not. Um, oh man. I know there used to be a street view here. I guess they removed it. You know what? I think while we're here, I should probably talk about my history with this place. It's not a bad history. I was a pretty good kid. I did get in trouble a few times, but I'd rather not talk about it because I was a stupid kid in the back in the way back era, I guess. Um. Anyway, so basically, um, this place that we're looking at was once called Dry Gulch, USA. It was a summer camp that I went to for a little while in my life. I think I went a total of 6 times, maybe. I think, because I know I kept track. I didn't misnumber anything, but I think the first time I went was 2004, then 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009. Yeah. Um, and it was fun. Now, what you're seeing right now isn't how it looked back then, like at all. But the first year I ever went, this go-kart track right here, which, yes, this is a go-kart track, it didn't exist. There was this one, but the go-karts also look different. This carousel over here wasn't there. Um, these were there. These were horse horse stables. Um, now something else is that this pool area, um, which by the way, hey, they still have the pools. Um, these pools, I loved them. Now, back whenever I used to go, this was where the pool was. However, they've since filled that in and moved it over here. This is a separate swim area. This is where the slides were. But the thing is, when it was over here, the slides were at the same pool. So on this side, you had these two slides going in this way. And on this side, you would have this slide sort of over here, and then the other slide, the long boy right here, it would be over here. And there were nicknames people called him. This one was called the Bullet because of how fast it went. In fact, I was actually scared of it whenever I went to camp here at first, so I didn't ride on it at first, but I think it was either my second time going or my third time going. I ended up riding it. I had fun. Now this slide, despite it being a bigger slide, I wasn't afraid of it, because the reason why I was afraid of the Bullet is because of how fast it went. For the slide here, which I called the Hurricane, I called it that because it had one loop and then another loop, and it was sort of like a hurricane. You're getting all whiplashy. And I called these the twin loops because, you know, there's a loop. But, the pool I'm talking about is sort of like this, but it was actually way bigger. Because, this entire area right over here was where the pool used to be. Alright. And the slides, these two were over here, and the little platform right here that you see, they were still positioned like this, but they were facing that way. These two were facing that way. And of course yeah, you can kind of see it. There's a little staircase that leads to this one because it's the tallest one. But then they would have a little hangout area over here where you could chill out and stay in the shade if you want. Same thing over here. But anyway, so the pool was unchanged during all my visits. But I think it was either my second year going or my third year going, was whenever they put the new go-kart track. And, at that time, they still had the old go-karts. But, eventually, and I think this was either, 2006 or 2007 when they, got new ones. But, anyway, this is what the newer go-kart was. So this one right here is just the Eagle. And then they had the Double Eagle, which was a twin-seater. Wait, what? Oh. I think the other one was called the Double Eagle. By the way, they were both gas powered, which is awesome because I love the sound of engines. Um, but the red one was the single seater, and this was the double seater, and it was a lot of fun. Now, I usually just drove the single seater, but there was a few occasions where just for for the fun of it, I drove myself in the double eagle. But the thing about it is, whenever I first went at Dry Gulch, I wasn't tall enough to actually drive a go-kart, so someone had to drive me in a double eagle to make sure I wasn't left out. And it was a lot of fun. And then eventually I did get big enough to where I could drive the go-kart, and it was a lot. It was a lot of fun. Now they did have rules like, oh, don't bump into people, don't do this, don't do that. But all in all, it was a fun experience. Um, anyway, um, yeah. So eventually, I believe it was 2007 or 2006. I don't remember. Because I know one year, they had mentioned they got new go-karts, and they even showed a picture of them, and I believe there was actually a picture of someone driving them is what they showed. Um, but the funny thing is, I actually didn't even see them at all during the first day that we were there. I'm talking about like the day that we got there, not like the first full day. But whenever I did see him, it was pretty cool. And actually driving them, like they weren't tremendously fast. They weren't like it was like I think it was like rocking up to like the upper 20s, maybe lower 30s in terms of speed, but the original track is right here. It was a windy course, kind of reminded me of Mario Kart. And then this track was my favorite of the two because it was more like an oval, but basically you would start off in one of these little starter sections right here, basically the pit stop. And you go around a couple times, and eventually there would be this barrier thing that they would have out to where you would drive into the pit area, and you had to be careful because if you're not careful, you could bump into someone by accident, even if you don't mean it. Of course, they'll know that you're either doing it on purpose or you're not doing it on purpose. Because, like, say for example, you're just driving on the actual racetrack and you're not paying attention, like, you're looking over somewhere, all of a sudden, whack! Right into somebody. Like, the person in front of you or beside you might get a little confused, but if you tell them, sorry, I was looking over there, like, it's also an incentive to pay attention. Take notes, idiots behind the wheel who also happen to be on their phone 24/7. Trust me, it's an important PSA. But what's cool about this track is that you know, you have this little race section over here, so it's sort of like a bank turn, and then there's like a hill somewhere over here, so it's sort of like a little roller coaster, and then there's another bank turn right over here, and yeah, I think it was like 4 laps or 5. I think is how many laps you do, and then you do it. And what's even cooler is that they actually had two different lines, one for this one and one for that one. So if you had enough time on an activity and you just got done with one, you could move on over to the other one, provided you have enough time to wade through the line, which, mind you, go-karting was one of the most popular activities in Dry Gulch. So, yeah. Anyway, then over here we have bumper cars. Yeah, we have bumper cars. I think it was over here. Maybe it was over here. Um, No, 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 no. It was over here. I think this is okay, well this is the train station, but I'll get to that in a second. Um this actually used to be an arcade. Like they would have these arcade buildings. And I'll get to where they last or they either currently still are or may have been closed down or replaced. It's not like an actual arcade place where you put in quarters and stuff. They were all modified for free play. But they had an arcade over here when I first went to camp there, and then the following year they had the same thing. But then in the subsequent years they moved it over to somewhere else. Um, so now it's actually a check-in area, or it was briefly, and then they moved it over to this train station, which is still a train station, but from what I remember, on a few years, they would have this as a check-in place where, of course, you would get checked in over here. This is the parking lot. This is where our bus would be, right around here, and we'd be lined up at this fence. We'd have our bags picked up by golf cart drivers with the trailer things that you would have your luggage on. Um, um, anyway, and these were dorms. It's pretty cool. Um, but this is where we would get checked in. Um, from 2000. For me, it was from 2007 to 2009. Because 2009 was the final year I ever went to Dry Gulch because I was 12 years old at the time. And the minimum you could go to Dry Gulch was being 7 years old. The oldest you could be is 12. So, yeah. I was already about 12 and a half. Um, but basically, what they would do is they would check in all the campers and they would check your hair. Like, they would sift through your hair and see if you had any lice. Now, if you didn't have any lice, then you were good to go. However, if you did have lice, then your parents would have to be contacted, or your legal guardians, or what have you, and you would have to be sent home. Now, luckily, I never had anything like that where I had to be sent home. However, if I ever did have not an opportunity, but if I ever did have something like that happen to me, this place would be at least 300 miles away from where I lived. At that time, by the way. Because, if I look at it now, like how far it'd be for trying to. Um, Now, by the way, this camp I'm talking about goes under a new name because it was sold to another ministry. Um, The thing is, if you're wondering about how far it is from here, if I were ever, for any reason, allowed to walk all the way from here to there, it would take 4 days. And on the fastest possible route, it would be just under 300 miles at 297 miles. Medium length route would be 5 hours and 15 minutes and would take 310 miles to get there. The longest possible route would be 555 miles and would take 5.5 hours essentially. But the shortest route would take less than 5 hours by 1 minute. So, to put that into perspective, how long it would take from my old house, that would actually be 3 miles, or not 3 miles, 300 miles. And it would take just over 5 hours. So, just be glad I never had to be sent home. Because, trust me, I was kind of a piece of shit back then as a kid. But anyway, yeah, so this place was a theater. Now, at first when I went to summer camp, this wasn't even here. Now going back to the train station, they would actually have a train here. Now, unfortunately, they no longer have the train, which kind of confuses me, because, why would you have train tracks and a train station if you don't have a train there? Now, that's my question. But whenever I did go there, we actually did have a train. And, at first when I went, it was the middle of our visit there, so, since we at first left our church on a Sunday, we'd be going on this train, Wednesday, I think. Because we left Sunday and we got there the same day after a little over 5 hours or so, or maybe 6, because at some point during our trip to Dry Gulch and from Dry Gulch, we would have to get lunch at a McDonald's. We also had a separate thing of money for visiting the general store, which I'll get to in a moment. Yeah, the train. So, when I first went to Dry Gulch, I think it was the first 2 or 3 years that I went there. It would be the third night we were there was when we had the Christmas train. Although it was just called the Dry Gulch train by some people. It was only called the Christmas train because of the fact that whenever Dry Gulch was still Dry Gulch before it became New Life Ranch and it still had the train, during the holidays around Christmas time they would actually have the train there, and people people could actually ride it and they could have hot cocoa and stuff like that. Now, speaking of the train, I should probably talk about the actual route it would take. Now, this right here doesn't actually work. But you would start off here, and you would follow along the train tracks here. And I remember this a little bit, but since it was at nighttime, you could already see the starry sky. But there was this little tunnel thing that you would see, but it was decorated to look like some kind of sky of stars or something. But eventually you would travel through here, all through here, and occasionally during the actual trip, on the train, you would actually get shot at with water guns, which was pretty cool. Um, oh, yeah, following. Um, Another vantage point for people to square right at us. There's that. And then we would make a big old loop. And oh, yeah. I think we continued on this route. Then there, then getting right back to the station. So that's the train. Um, right. So, oh, here it is, here it is. This is where the bumper cars used to be. I I distinctly remember them originally being in here when they had the bumper cars. But then after that, they would eventually have Campese's Grill over here, where during the summer, this is where the bumper cars would actually be, right in this little building over here. But during winter time, they would turn it into a place where people could, warm up and get hot cocoa and stuff during the holidays. Um, they had a windmill over here, which is pretty neat. Can't go wrong with a windmill to fit that rustic theme. Because Dry Gulch itself, and even now is U Life Ranch, which, by the way, it has two different parts. There's a ranch, no, not ranch, but I forgot what the other place was called. But this part, which was originally just Dry Gulch, um, I'm not saying they called it Dry Gulch briefly, but I'm just calling it by what I always have called it. But I know what the name is now. It's New Life Ranch Frontier Cove, which, by the way, is a pretty cool name. But to me, Dry Gulch just sounds more iconic. Anyway, this is a dorm over here. Another dorm. Another dorm. Um, but what's cool is that um, right. So they had a general store, I believe, right over here, or it might have been over here. I don't remember. But one of these buildings was the arcade. Might have, it might have been this one, or it might have been this one, but that's all I know. I do know that at one point, I had a dorm over here or over here. I don't remember. Um, Wait, I think it was over here because there was an arcade over here. I think. Well, no. It was over here. Yeah. Um. So I had a dorm over here. There was an arcade over here in the later years that I went. Um. And like I said, one of these buildings had the arcade. I believe it was this one. Yeah. It was. It was. And this was the general store. And then this, I believe, was just a dorm in this one. But this one was the arcade. Now that I think about it, this was actually the arcade. The reason why I know this is because this arcade, um, I always called this the corridor style because all the machines were all lined up in a row, sort of like a straightforward corridor. But then on this side of the building, there were these one hoop basketball courts, and they also had some pool tables, and you would also see these really neat looking decorations hanging on the ceiling and stuff. Like they had a tricycle, they had all these really cool things. And it was really cool. And the thing is, whenever I first went to Dry Gulch, and I believe the year after that, and maybe even the year after that in 2006, wait, no, 2006 was whenever they changed it. But my first 2 years of going to Dry Gulch, they didn't even have arcade machines in here. They had a PS1, an N64, an Atari 2600, and they had multiple of those. I forgot what other game consoles they had, but what I do know, however, is that it was a lot of fun playing on those. Cause the funny thing is, and I remember watching this long play of this game, a very long time ago during my years in high school, but this was actually how I found out about Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped and the other Crash Bandicoot games. And what ended up happening was I was thinking about Dry Gulch a lot, and eventually I thought, I think I remember a Crash Bandicoot game. I think it was called Crash Bandicoot Warped or something. And so I looked it up, and there was a long play of it, and I watched it, and it clicked. It was one of those games that I saw over there. But then in 2006, I believe, I might be wrong, but they changed it to where instead of it being like a whole row of game consoles, it was a whole bunch of arcade machines like Frogger, Asteroids, Tron, yes, Tron, the Tron, not Disceptron, just Tron. They had Spy Hunter, which is one of my all-time favorite arcade games alongside Tron. Um, they had a lot of cool games. Now, of course, the basketball court things and the billiard tables didn't change. But then we have this building, which was added in the later years that would come here. This was the second arcade, and it had a lot more modern stuff. They still had the classic arcades like Galaga and stuff like that, but a lot of the other stuff was, newer. Like, they had a arcade version of Need for Speed, which is pretty cool. I forgot what other games they had, but it was a lot of fun. I liked it. Wait. Okay, now I remember. This was the general store. This was the arcade. This was a dorm. This was a dorm. That's a dorm. That's a dorm. Right over there. That was a dorm which I actually stayed in, I believe, 2 years. I'm not saying I lived there for 2 years. It's just I went there 2 years in a row, I think. Um, that's a dorm. That's a dorm. Now, there's also this right here, and that's for the Buckaroo Bunkhouse, as they called it. And it's for kids with special needs, so people with Down syndrome and stuff like that. People who are special, I should say. Um, yeah. This, I believe, was for something I don't remember. Don't know about that. Um, but then we have this area right over here with a pretty looking patio right over here. Now, you'll notice this lake, which is, of course, Lake Hudson, which was one of my favorite spots. It's very relaxing. They even had a water slide called the Wet Willy. Not that it would give you a Wet Willy unless you landed in the water in the wrong way. But this was the dining dining hall. This was where you would eat breakfast and lunch and dinner. And trust me, their food was fucking awesome. Okay? And I'm not just saying that because it was a break from the school food. Even though elementary school food was amazing. But let me tell you something. Dry Gulch's food was unparalleled in terms of places where I had to eat as a kid. And I'm not even adding restaurants because those don't really count. Now I'm talking about like daycare, school. But then we had Dry Gulch. Their food was divine. And ironically enough, this happens to be church camp, so. But let me explain, right? So, I believe this was the entrance. Yeah, it was. Because this area, I believe, was for staff. Or I think it was for sponsors. Although occasionally they would come into this area where all the counselors and the campers sat and ate. Hello, the new Reddit viewer. I'm talking about this place that used to be my summer camp right now, so if you're unaware of what I'm talking about, yeah. Place called it was originally called Dry Gulch, but a ministry bought it a couple years ago, so it goes under a different name, but if you hear me calling it Dry Gulch, then that's why. But I'm just talking about my childhood experiences here. By the way, I hope you're doing well. And if you're going through a tough time, you can talk it out with me. Because you're awesome. Don't ever forget that. Anyway, going back to what I was talking about. So how we would actually go in here was this was actually the way we entered. We would walk in through these doors over here, and there's a little hallway. I think there was a vending machine or vending machine or two here. There was also a door to the side here that would also enter here, but that was for exiting. But we would go throughout this hallway, and we would exit out here into the patio, and eventually we would reach these doors where we'd form a line, and we'd start going in, and still as a line we would get our food. And I have to admit, it was pretty cool seeing the lake from here, although it was kind of obstructed by the trees, but what are you gonna do? But where do I begin with the food here? Certainly better than middle or high school food, that's for sure. I saw this go down. Please don't. Um, anyway, um, but they had burgers, they had spaghetti, they had all sorts of really good stuff. And they even had dessert. Now, for breakfast, it was the breakfasty stuff like pancakes, waffles, cereal, which I believe the cereal was from when we were going home. Um, oh, the dessert was stuff like cookies or ice cream. I think there was a third kind. Yeah, there was I think it was called red, white, and blue Jello. So it was like red or blue Jello with whipped cream. It was real good. And I mean, like all the food here that I had, and I remember having was really good. And what's even cooler is well, for one, they cared about us. They weren't like, here, go nuts, drink all the soda you want. No, they actually cared about us. They told us to make sure that we drink plenty of water before doing stuff, because, as you might already guess, this was a summer camp. So, you know, when you have summer and you're outside doing a whole lot of activities, you would ideally want to have a whole lot of hydration in your system. So, they would tell us to drink 1 to 2 cups of water before having something like a soda or something. And I would always have 1 cup of water because I was pretty good about staying hydrated. I'm shivering right now, but it's because of the fan. Um, but the reason why they told us to do that before drinking something else is because you know how in the you know how in restaurants they have those drink machines where I don't mean a vending machine, by the way. Although they did have vending machines in this little area that I was talking about earlier. But I mean like in some restaurants they had those refill machines where you could choose whatever drink you want and you press your cup underneath it and you get the drink. And of course they would also have ice. Anyway, but I would also no, not also. I would almost always get either Powerade or root beer. Powerade because I liked it. I got like a Mountain Blast, I think, or Mountain something or other. But I believe their root beer was either A&W or Mug. I think it was Mug, but it was really good. Um, Now, of course, in the mornings I wouldn't have that. I would have this orange juice or apple juice or grape juice, something like that. Anyway, exiting from here after like 15 minutes of talking about it. This over here was the office. Now, this was where you would be sent if you were being a particularly bad camper, and I remember this so fondly. Like, I didn't ever visit the office myself, like, ever, because I was a very well behaved kid. I did have my bouts, but I wasn't, like, kicked out or anything. It was just, you know, growing up, I didn't realize I had Asperger's syndrome, so I wasn't able to control myself as well as I can now. But luckily, I was never sent here. It was just usually being porched. Actually, that's all it was. But right next to it is the nurse's office, which is where I think, yeah, I think this is the nurse's office, or this one. I think it was this one. But um, sometimes you would be, no, not sometimes. For me, I had to go here sometimes because I had medicine, which I still do take medicine occasionally for my aforementioned Asperger's syndrome, but nowadays I don't take it as much as I used to because really, as old as I am, I don't really need to be taking it all that often. It's not like me taking it every day is gonna hurt me or anything. It's just like at for a while I had to take it like every single day during school, but considering the fact that I'm a fully grown adult, I'm well aware of how I should be acting. I'm well aware of my mental condition and having to have self control of myself. like, I'm a very mature person. Sometimes I'll be immature sometimes, but that's just how I am. I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I'm very fun-loving, but I'm not like out of control. I used to whenever I was a lot younger, but as I just said, it's whenever I was a lot younger. But I would have my medicine here on my first days. But what would happen is subsequent days, um, they would have like for campers who had medicine, they would have nurses stationed over here on this part of the building or this part, and they would ask for a camper, and they would have them take their medicine. Anyway, getting from the nurse, this was the chapel, which was where they had praise and worship and lessons and stuff. And I talked about this a long time ago earlier, but what you're seeing right here is where the pool currently is. However, whenever I went to summer camp, this was where the pool was, and it was all one pool. It wasn't one pool for the slides and one pool for people to swim in. It was a much bigger pool, and here's how it was. So these two slides were on this side, and the ends of them were facing, that way. Then we have these two slides, the Bullet and the Hurricane. I called it the Hurricane because of how windy it was. Whoops. I accidentally did the right click instead of the left click. They were on this side, and they'd be pointing that way. However, another thing is that, the Hurricane was on this side, the Bullet was on this side. These two were just, you didn't have to shift them around from their original positions. But looking at this, it's literally the opposite of the original positions. Because basically what it is that when the pool was originally here, this top pool was on this side, and no, not pool. This slide right here, the Hurricane was on this part, and then the Bullet was lower because it was a shorter slide, and because of the fact that well, it was on a lower platform. But I'm talking, of course, about whenever it was over here. Um, so like, okay, okay. Um, I'll tell you when. So what I mean is, if you look at it like this, um, okay, this is what I mean. So the way you're looking at it now, um, okay, so this is what I mean. The platform that had these two slides, when it was over here, their spots were switched, basically. So the Bullet was on this side, and the Hurricane right here was on this side. And of course, the staircase was like up instead of up. But that's what I mean. Now then we have the horse stables right over here, which is where we had the horseback riding, which was really fun. We weren't racing; it was just a ride through the woods they had because they had a trail. Um, I don't quite know what this building was used for. Um, Playground. Now the carousel, I believe that was first added in 2007, I think. I think I was 10 years old back then. Yeah. I was I was 10 in 2007. Now this right here, which is called the ropes course, that was not there at all whenever I was at Dry Gulch. Um, what is pretty cool though is that I don't know where they would have it now, but basically okay, so these are dorms, which back then I used to call them cabins because they looked like cabins to me. But the ropes course was not here at all. Um I do know they had this inflatable obstacle course. And actually they had a whole bunch of them. Um one of them was like this really big maybe if I could look it up. Um hmm. Oh, what the No. They made it shorter. No. Oh, no wonder it looks so different. Okay, so when I was a kid, the bullet that you would see here and the hurricane, they were a lot bigger and they were on a higher platform. So to accommodate for the higher height, there would be much bigger slides. They'd be longer, they'd be a bigger tube. Now, granted, the hurricane looks sort of similar, and I think it even goes the same direction. But, okay. So, um, this is the inflatable thing I was talking about. This. Um, well, actually, I think it looked different. Because, the one that I remember was, it was one that was themed to be Dry Gulch. Like, it was literally just called Dry Gulch. Also, uh, what? That's a throwback. Um, man. Dude, this takes me back. Yeah, here it is. So, yeah, there it is. The Christmas train that was originally there, moved to a different state, and the ministry that originally owned Regal sold it. So that's why it goes under a different name now. It's because of the new ministry that owns it. Um, which at first it was kind of depressing hearing that, but honestly, it was kind of to be expected, you know. But I definitely remember those bunk beds though. They were a lot of fun. Um, but basically, so the inflatable thing that I was talking about is literally just like this, only this little mural looking thing, this wall decoration to make it look like an actual like place you go and adventures on. It was designed to look like an old west mining town. And it would have a sign that said Dry Gulch. And you would go through here, you would go through this little path, and you would climb on to this, and there were two different zip lines. Or alternatively, you could just slide down and dodge through these different hazards, and then exit out here. There's that. It was kind of like that, but it looked way different. Hmm. Trying to find it. They actually did have inflatable water slides there too. And this. I remember these. They didn't have this though, funnily enough. Um, by the way, this room looked it looked way different back then because it had like all these different things like old advertisement signs and old road signs and stuff. But it was a lot of fun though. I remember it fondly, like it was yesterday. But hey, this thing about growing up, sometimes you just gotta let things go. Because, like, for a while in my life, I actually wanted to get a job there because I just missed it so much, and I wanted to see if maybe I could get a job there. I never did, but eh, not all not all dreams are meant to come true, you know. Even if you try your hardest, even if you dreamed your hardest, but it's for the better though, because I'm happy here. That's all that matters. But what I will admit though is that this camp changed me. I had a lot of fun. It shaped me into the fun-loving person I am today. It's part of the reason why I like go-karts and bumper cars and all this other crazy stuff. Did I ever mention that? No? Okay. Um, oh yeah. So, this is the chapel, by the way. Um, that's what the chapel looked like. Now, this right here is what the dining hall used to look like. And here's the well, that explains it. This was the arcade, not this one. Okay, now I see. Yeah. Um Hey, SL Second Life. I had that. Um and actually if you want to know about how I found out about Dry Gulch, it was actually I believe it was 2015 or 2016 when I heard about it from my papaw because I think I had talked to him about Dry Gulch or he just talked to me about it. Like he asked me if I remembered Dry Gulch, and I said yeah. And he said that it's currently up for sale. And at first I was a little surprised, but I just I just got used to it. But what's really funny is yes, Twitter, I know that was me. Aw. This picture was man. Okay. Um it is so sad. Cause the thing is, this is the ministry that used to own them. But like to see that their last ever tweet was from 2014, that's depressing. I don't mean that in a mean way, by the way. It's just it's sad to me because like it was a place that I kind of grew up with, but yeah. But hey, sometimes you just gotta go with the flow in life. Cause like the thing is, my first, no, not my first ever, my last ever time I went, whenever we were about to leave, unbeknownst to me, what I ended up saying on the bus was not going to be the case at all. I remember it vividly, but I simply just told the counselors, "See you later." Like I think I said, "See you next time" or "See you later." But I had come to find out that I was too old for it, unless I got a job there, but I never did. Hits you like a truck, man. Because for a place like this, that I literally went there 6 times from 2004 to 2009. Yeah, wait, yeah, 6. But I remember the good times, but sometimes you just gotta remember the good times, but don't dwell on the past. The important thing to take away here is that I had a fun time. It was a good place. And although nowadays it goes under a different name and it's still under operation, even though I'm pretty sure they're going to be transitioning to fall stuff soon, I know it in my heart that it still continues to make people smile. That's all that matters. Anyway, now that we're marveling at a place that I once called an old friend, how about we go back home, shall we? Back in the DFW area. Back to the place where I belong. It's home's where the heart is. Oh, what the? If you happen to have seen my address, please don't stalk me. I do not condone that. This is actually my home, though, right here. Will admit, even though I've been living in this neighborhood for nearly 5 years, because we first moved here in early-ish mid-February of 2017, I quickly became accustomed to it, and I love this neighborhood. It's really neat. But yeah, it's a good place. And unlike Dry Gulch, it's not like I'm gonna be coming here every single year and then eventually stop coming here. I would hope not. Anyway, this is another place, or this is another thing. I don't know if you could see it. Um, that so we've talked about uh missing summer camp, but how about missing home? Now that I mention it, I get the funny feeling that we're gonna be hearing about these guys very soon. I do mean very soon, because for one, if I could check this, I'm not saying anything changed with this. I don't think. No, still had. Um, here's the thing. Looking at the home trademark, um, I already checked this like way earlier in the stream, and if you look here, this was recently updated. Um, as of today, it is now officially it is the 19th, which was supposedly going to be a state of play, but we never got the announcement, so chances are it's either going to be next week or we won't have an August event. We are for sure going to have a September event, but here's the thing. Maybe we are going to have an August event after all, but just at the very near end of August, because Sony did say that they'll be keeping us posted about things like God of War and Horizon Forbidden West and PSVR 2 and all that stuff throughout the summer. But it's been dead silent since then. So it was about time we heard about that. So I think what's going to happen is the reason why we aren't getting a state of play this week, when originally it was supposedly going to happen, is because of the fact that there's stuff like QuakeCon, which is literally happening tomorrow on the 19th. I mean, today, but tomorrow, you know what I mean. But it could happen next week though, the state of play, because next Wednesday is going to be Gamescom opening night live. But here's the thing. Unlike last year, Sony is not going to be there. Now, what do you think? Because if you look at no drop. That's good. Um, yep. Yeah, there's 19 partners. Sony is not one of them at all. There's 505 Games, there's Activision. I wish not to elaborate further. Assemble Entertainment, Astragon Entertainment, Bandai Namco Entertainment. That's a lot of entertainment. Bethesda. I will elaborate further on that. Microtransaction Arts. You know what I mean. Game Evil. Never heard of that. Com2 US Europe. Head Up. Indie Arena Booth. Koch Media, Next Studios, Tencent. Sega Europe. Nice. Team 17, Tech Lane, which is probably going to be for Dying Light 2. Almost said Deadlight 2. Thunderful Games, Ubisoft. Hey, Ubisoft, are you guys going to talk about anything happening lately? Because I know you guys said damage control by revealing one of your new operators in your milk to death game is trans, which, mind you, come on, trans rights, man. But when you use a trans character to cover up possible things going on in the background of your company, be clarifying about it. Ow. I mean clarify it, not be clarifying about it. Wargaming and Xbox. They're gonna have games this time. Um, right. So, here's the thing. Typically, when Sony has their state of plays, they do it on a Thursday. What I'm thinking is because Sony's not going to be at Gamescom, they're going to have their state of play next Thursday. And I know that sounds like kind of a stupid thing to think about, but when you think about it, it's not far-fetched. Because, again, Sony is not attending at all. Like, at all. Sure. Um, okay, so there's over 70 developers and publishers. Okay. Okay. Um, Trying to find out. Um, oh, Yeah, see, Sony isn't there, like, at all. I'm gonna keep doing that. Of course, Sega's gonna be there. Weird. Um, okay. But anyway, yeah, Sony's not gonna be there. And the thing about it is, the opening night live is Wednesday next week. So that's 25th. Now, the 26th is, as I said earlier, on a Thursday. So, what I think is going to happen is because of the fact that Sony's not going to be at this event, what I think is going to happen, and this seems incredibly likely given this information, is that because of the fact that companies already have some live events happening tomorrow, Sony would rather wait until they have their own time in the limelight. And what a better way to do that than by not including themselves in an event like this and having their own event. So, plus it makes a lot of sense when you consider the fact that like next Thursday is basically going to be the near end of this month. And Sony did mention that before the end of the summer, they were going to provide us with information about stuff that we want to know. So, if I didn't know any better, I'd keep your eyes peeled these next several days from right now, I guess, to Tuesday. And if we hear anything about an event announcement from Sony on Tuesday, we'll know. But if we don't at all during next week, then we just won't have an event in August and we'll just have to wait for some time in September. Which would also, coincidentally enough, fall on the 1 year anniversary since we saw the price tag for the PS5 along with the release date. Anyway, yeah. So, with all that said, um, yeah. So I think right now, given how long this stream has been going on, I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits here. I hope you've enjoyed my stream. If you're new, which I know the person watching might or might not be, of course, it could just be someone watching. Um, yeah, I still appreciate even just one viewer. I'm not one of those picky people who are like, $5. I'm pretty sure you might be able to get that reference, but I will say this: I'm not into Twitch for the, you know, popularity or for the money. Because first of all, I'm not even monetized. I'm small. Second of all, like even if I was monetized, I wouldn't be bitching and begging for money. I'd just be wholeheartedly appreciative of the viewership I'm getting and any donations, but that's entirely up to the viewer. But for now, though, I just can't take donations because I'm not monetized. I don't have those features at all. I don't have a bank account, so you can't donate. But just the viewership and the follows is all that matters for me. Is just I'm still appreciative of those. All right, so that's all you have to worry about. Oh, by the way, I need to do something. There we go. Yeah, that looks better. I wanted to realign that and make sure everything looked pretty even. I know it probably doesn't look even, but whatever. Anyway, thank you for watching. You're, I already talked about all that. And be sure to let your friends know about my channel as well. And, I know I keep saying this a lot, but, I do promise, or I'll try to do this tomorrow if I can remember and if I have the time. But, I will be uploading this to YouTube as a video on demand alongside my other streams I've done, so that way people who are on YouTube could be up to date about what I've been up to. Anyway,